Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for the collective for this upcoming Virgo new moon. Now normally I would like to try and get my reading done on the actual day that the new moon or the full moon is happening, but I'm having a huge problem with uploading. So by the time it's uploaded, it's kind of a day or 2 days after that event has already happened. So I'm going to be doing this slightly earlier now, but I will hopefully upload it actually on or put it up on the channel on that day. So we should really be having, instead of a Virgo new moon, we should be actually having a Pisces full moon. But because we've just had two full moons in Aquarius, one at the very beginning, one at the very end, that end Aquarius full moon should have been by rights a Pisces full moon, but it's now going to be after this Virgo new moon. So it's like all the moons have kind of shifted and changed where they should be, so to speak. So the Virgo new moon is happening on the 7th of September and it's taking place at 14 degrees of Virgo. And if you're interested, there will be a natal link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out. You may want to know, if you don't already know, which house it's happening for you personally, and also where that Virgo degree point is. Also, it will be, you can have a look at anything between the 24 points of Virgo back to the 9 degree point of Virgo, and that should kind of cover anything in between those, that area. If you've got anything in Virgo, then that's going to be quite intense, and it is going to be quite an intense new moon anyway, because it's also connecting with Uranus at this time as well, and it is literally only 1 degree apart, which basically means like 1 minute away. So they will become exact trine just after the new moon happens. So the Virgo energy, starting the read off with what the Virgo energy is. It is a time to give to others. Virgo energy is service to others. It's about our work, it's about our health as well, but it's a time to give rather than take, it says. So it's about recognizing what we can do for other people rather than just for ourselves. And it's also, because it's a new moon, it's a new start is coming, so it's a time to plant a seed in the soil of the Virgo new moon. Set your intentions, what it is that you're wanting to create in this future energy. And then we have the mutable moon, which is all about flexibility, being able to change your mind or change plan or change direction, and try and not stay stuck, because it's all about nothing being set in stone at this time, which is really interesting, because with Uranus trining, nothing is going to be set in stone anyway. Uranus change, revolutionary change at that. So the celestial meditation card that we've got this time, which is interesting because when I picked these cards up off the table, this one got left behind, and then I did my usual shuffling, and eventually this card came out. So it definitely wanted to be part of this reading. And this is Green Tara, and she is a blending of white, yellow and blue colours, which symbolise pacifying, increasing and destroying. Fuse to reveal the radiant green Tara. So when these colours come together, the green, the white, sorry, the blue, the white and the yellow, it creates the colour of green, which of course the blue and the yellow, the green chakra is also the heart chakra, so this is about heart chakra energy as well. So the Cosmic Mother is always ready to come to your rescue from the 8 great terrors. She is the great protectress against all harm and ill will. Just as a child is fearless in the presence of the Divine Mother, lead your life free of fear. The material world is but a delusion. And we are really going to kind of see this over the next few months as well. What is coming in and what is going to be taking place over the next few months is going to be a real kind of breakdown and breakthrough of the energies that we've been in. Again, to do with the Uranus energy. The Uranus energy is so strong at this time. And we've also got Black Moon Lilith conjuncting the North Node at this time as well. So very, very powerful, potent energy. And Green Tara for me really does kind of emphasize this Virgo energy, this Virgo new moon, the goddess, Virgo earth energy. So the reading is starting off with the 9 of water, or the 9 of cups as it's normally known, and it's in reverse. And this is coming through for me as a sense of, and I do believe we might have had this previously as well. I remember this card coming out. So this is the heart of the reading, and the 9 of water, or the 9 of cups, when it's upright, talks about wish fulfillment, like something being achieved or almost being achieved, or feeling as though it's possible to achieve that ultimate goal, that ultimate emotional happiness, to be where we need to be on an emotional balanced level. But because it's in reverse, it's kind of saying to me that we could be feeling at this time, and this could also have something to do with Neptune as well, because Neptune is a very watery planet and is opposing the sun and the moon at the time of this new moon energy as well. And she's also opposing, or he, should I say, is also opposing the Mars energy too. And this can bring in a sense of like almost like, what's the point? Like that we feel more like we are not in control of our lives, or a sense of lethargy or giving up on something. Like, what's the point in keep going? Why should we keep trying? Because Neptune can be a very kind of confusing energy as well. So this could also be accounting for this energy, this kind of confusion that is surrounding all of this. It's a bit kind of murky. But she is holding on to this key, which is very interesting. I always find that very interesting, the way that she's holding on to that key, as though the key is the one thing. Like, there's all of these kind of diamonds like falling down around her, and it's like the key is very important. It's kind of, because the key can unlock so much. It can unlock like wisdom, like our own heads. I think I might have said this before, like the way that we remember things is on a lock and a key kind of chemical kind of action, if you like the key to unlock things. But that's what this key is kind of saying to me. That's what this energy is saying to me. So there's something here that I feel is being held onto very tightly with this key energy, because it's going to unlock something for us in the future. Because over the top of this Nine of Water could also be a sense of not feeling like we deserve to have that happiness, or feeling like, why should we be able to have that perfect happiness or that perfect life, or almost a sense of are we deserving? And why would we be deserving? It's almost like, feels like, you know, the message that has been put into our brains for so long now is that we how can I put it? It's like we have a certain level of happiness, if you like, or a certain level of wealth, or a certain level of, and it's like that's the level that you stay at. You don't go above it. You might go below it, but you don't kind of rise above it. Because our challenge at this time is the Ten of Water, which is very much about that searching for happiness. This is the block, this is the challenge. This is what we're not being able to get to from this 9. We can't reach this 10. This understanding of kind of connecting to the flow of happiness from within ourselves. Maybe that's what it's saying. It's like we're looking outside of ourselves and seeing all of these different sources of what we think is happiness, when actually it's within ourselves. But we've taken so long, or it's been so long that we've been told that this will make you happy and that will make you happy. But we're beginning to see, we are going to begin to see, that it is just all an illusion, as it said in the Celestial Gallery card, the Tarot card, that the material world literally is just this sense of delusion, that we delude ourselves believing that all these things are what we need, all these things are what's going to make us happy. And I'm sure we've had this card before. So the Ten of Water, Ten of Cups, also came out with the Justice card as well. So again, this way, challenge, it's a challenging energy. So I feel as though it's kind of challenging us to find that inner happiness through this sense of deserving, or through this sense of balance, through this sense of fairness to ourselves, in a way. Like we can keep looking for outside sources to make us happy, but at the end of the day it's just going, it's like it's going to elude us. Until we find that, it just feels like until we find that sense of balance within, that sense of equilibrium, within ourselves, we're not going to allow that happiness to fulfill us. Also that sense of kind of like jumping from one kind of thing to the next. And what I mean by that is like finding what we believe to be happiness or happiness, what makes us happy, but then it kind of doesn't last. It's not a long lasting happiness, particularly when the 9 is in reverse. It's not a long lasting happiness, again, because we're looking for it from outside sources rather than looking for it from within, which is what this Buddha is implying to me. That it's a journey within. To find the truth as well, because this card has the sword of truth there, which is kind of flaming away. It's a light. It's radiant. And the truth is radiant, and that's something else as well. It's kind of saying like the truth is radiant, you will always know it. You will know what is actually real, as opposed to what is just illusionary. So, in our heads and what we are aware of at this time, we have the 8 of air, or the 8 of swords. An energy of feeling caught up in something. An energy, and it's in reverse again as well. So an energy of feeling trapped. I'm saying caught up in something, something just kind of going round and round and round, and a bit like a hamster on a wheel, if you like. That kind of like no change, no solution. It's kind of that same like feeling of disillusionment, because it's air. It's to do with the mind. It's to do with looking for a way out of something, or kind of questioning something. But when it's the 8, it's very much about trapping ourselves in that thought process, that like we can't go beyond it. We are kind of stuck in this energy, and we haven't allowed ourselves to kind of move beyond it, particularly, as I was saying, when it is in reverse. And it's almost like as well that we want to kind of release ourselves from this. We want to kind of let the past go, if you like, because that is the constant thought pattern, is like, you know, coming from that past energy, rather than bringing that new energy in, that kind of truth and seeing things clearly. Because another thing with the Justice card as well is not being emotionally caught up in things, being able to see through things from a kind of third person viewpoint in a way, so that you're not emotionally caught up, which is why the Justice card is nearly always blindfolded. She's not blindfolded in this one, although she does have a kind of mask over her face, but she can actually see. But normally Justice would be shown as being blind, purely because Justice has to make decisions from a place of fairness and balance. So she can't be kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? She can't be caught up in the kind of 3D idea of the world. She has to remain unbiased for things. It has to be a fair decision. And possibly this is also what we're feeling at this time as well, that we're looking for this justice, we're looking for this fairness, but we're still not kind of feeling it. Things seem very unfair, unjust, and just going round and round in circles. Just this sense of nothing changing, the energy's not shifting, things are kind of staying stuck in the same place. And it feels like there's no movement forward, it feels like there's no progression. It just feels very just very caught up, and like I was saying, still making decisions from past energy, which is keeping that same thing trapped in that same loop. And what we have moving away is the Temperance card, also known in this deck as patience. Right timing, literally patience, waiting for that divine time to arrive. And it feels like it has been a long time. This is a long, slow process that we are in at this time. And again, it's very kind of foggy and very misty here. It's like we can't see what's coming. We can't see into this kind of future. It's kind of all very clouded, all very unknown, uncertain. And all we can do is really wait the time out. And underneath, in our place of the subconscious, what we're not so aware of because it's on a deeper feeling level, we have the Ace of Earth or the Ace of Pentacles. The aces are a new energy, but it's in reverse, so it's almost like blocking this energy, almost like we know on some level that things are changing, but something is not allowing this change in. It's like there's a blockage here. And the blockage is kind of coming from within our own kind of desires and, in a way, wanting things to be the way we want them. If that makes any sense, if you understand what I mean by that, by having our own expectations of how things should or shouldn't be, we are in a way kind of letting ourselves down because we get caught up in it all. And we don't allow things to kind of we don't allow things to shift, to change. It's like this 8 of air energy just keeps us, as I was saying, in this same place, whereas the earth energy really wants to kind of bring something new in here, into this new world that is being formed here. Again, Virgo type of energy, earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. It's wanting stability, it's wanting to ground something into the real world. A new beginning, a new way of doing things. Because that's also what this Justice card could also be saying, is that we've tried it the way that we've tried it for a long time now, and it's not working. So kind of karmically, our actions are leading us to where we are now, because everything has an action and a reaction and a consequence. So this energy is being blocked, it feels like. It feels like a blockage. Could also be the Uranian energy as well, Uranus in Taurus, but it doesn't feel so much like that, as it does this kind of sense of something new wants to come in for us, something, but we're not recognizing it, or we're not allowing it. We're kind of still very much stuck, as I was saying, in this past energy of still trying to do things in the same way, to understand things in the same way, or to continue things in the same way. It's like that being on that loop is kind of how it's appearing, being on that loop of just coming from that old paradigm. And what we have moving in is the Five of Water, which is a card of despair, a card of sinking into this kind of despairing energy, if you like. Again, this could also be very Neptune orientated. To me, she looks like she's she has her hand on her head, and it's like it's all too much, it's all too overwhelming. And this Neptune Sun energy opposition is going to be ongoing for quite some time yet. I think it ends at the end of September, but I could be wrong. But what's coming through is this sense of again, this kind of seeing this shell here in a similar way to this energy here. If you look here, there's this kind of on that rock there is this kind of circular, which also, it almost looks like a clock, and it does actually kind of remind me of the hands of time here as well, which she also has on her as well. She has a few clocks on her, but on her scarf there she has these two well, she has this one very kind of fancy, which to me looks like a very fancy kind of clock hand, like ticking away the time kind of thing. And that is also down at the bottom of this card here. I'm turning it up that way, it might be able to see it clearer. This gold. And it's kind of reminding me, as I was saying, of this shell here, almost like a solidness, because in this card here she has this mermaid towel, so she can actually move and swim and free herself if she wasn't so kind of caught up in this kind of key, whatever this is about for her, whatever the meaning of that is, whatever, how precious, because it's like this, something is very precious, so it's something that she wants to hold on to and doesn't want to let go of. But in a way, it's also something that is dragging us down, and it's becoming kind of quite, it's the, like the solidity of it. Whoops, sorry about that. That jumped out of my hand completely there. So, right, what I'm getting is that because we're kind of being trapped by our own thinking, and we keep kind of going back to this same place, this same past energy, it's dragging us down deeper into what we should be actually letting go and releasing at this time. And that it's like this shell here has become, or this towel here has transformed into this kind of shell, this heaviness that's dragging her down to the depths, into the depths of her emotions in a way, in order to kind of take a deeper look at something. But she's not really looking at anything because she's so caught up in the emotions of everything that she's feeling here. And that's, it feels like that's why this Ace of Earth is not able to get through. It's like this Ace of Earth wants to come through and bring in this new energy. This could be the Virgo new moon energy itself. But I'm also kind of seeing a connection between her headband here and this antler here as well, in a sense of kind of like the Justice card is a major arcana, so it's a higher energy. The Justice card, this is a higher level, it's a higher frequency energy, if you like. And it's like we're picking up on something. We know that something, we're picking up on it. A part of us is picking up on something that is happening, that is taking place around us, but we're not quite sure what it is. but it's causing a lot of despair, a lot of a sinking feeling of not being able to rise above at this time. And it feels like with everything that's going on in the outside world, shall we say, that kind of 3D world, we're going to be plunged deeper down into this emotional response or emotional reaction. And most people, if you like, are not going to know how to respond to this energy that's coming in, which is going to be very chaotic. It is going to be very confusing, especially if you're not aware of what's going on in the bigger scheme of things at this time. So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. And we'll see what else comes out. But we have the Hierophant, which is where we are at this time. The Hierophant is an energy of faith. But today it's coming through with a very strong kind of message of, it's kind of looking similar to the Justice card here as well. It's coming through as an energy of needing to stay true to who we are. And if we don't know who we are, then we need to kind of somehow try and recognize who we are. There's a very strong sense of the female energy kind of rising up at this time. Astrologically, there's a lot of female energy that is being activated right now at this time. And the Hierophant was always, well, the Hierophant literally means the bridge between the kind of other world, if you like, and the physical domain. The Hierophant was the person who you would turn to in times of crisis, times of needing healing. But when it's in reverse here, it's kind of saying that we don't even really have that to go to anymore. It's like our faith can only really be put in ourselves. And that's what we need to return to in a way. That's what we need to rediscover. Is that we are that faith. When I say faith, it doesn't have to necessarily be a kind of religious faith, but it's about trusting something kind of bigger than ourselves, shall we say, like a karmic understanding of how things are much bigger than we realize or understand. The Hierophant looks for us to to kind of open, or we look towards the Hierophant to try and to kind of open that doorway into the other realms. And it's kind of coming through as well. I'm getting this message for this key. Because there is this kind of door knocker down here as well. And I'm seeing it almost like the key to open the door to this kind of dimension. Can only be found within ourselves. So it's about going within again with this Buddha energy here as well. Because Buddha always talks about, since it's not actually Buddha, it's a Chinese laughing god, I believe, but it has very Buddha type look about it. And it's kind of saying, you know, that it is about within, finding your happiness within, finding your own path within. Not just relying on other people, not going to other people to find out who you are. It's about really understanding your connection with everything, or our connection to everything. But because it's in reverse, it almost feels like there's something that we're missing here. There's something that we're kind of maybe even don't feel as though we have that ability, or a sense of mistrust. For me, it's got quite a strong energy of the Black Moon Lilith energy as well. That is really powerful and really potent at this time. And as I was saying, the Hierophant energy, the bridge between, was kind of taken over in a way by this very hierarchical kind of priesthood. Whereas before, it would have been the women who would have been in this position. So this is a very hierarchical energy, the Hierophant, normally. Normally it would depict a pope. And of course, as we all know, women aren't allowed to take that position. So in this card, it is actually portrayed as a female, and it's kind of coming through to me with this Black Moon Lilith North Node kind of energy. That is going to be very chaotic. It is going to cause a lot of mayhem, chaos. It has also been called righteous anger or righteous rage. It's the releasing of the divine feminine that is coming back into the psyche of the world in general. But Black Moon Lilith is a very raw energy. She's kind of primordial energy, shall we say. And she is a very testing energy as well. She's the kind of energy where we have ignored what she has to offer. The female creative energy. It's known as the shadow energy purely because of the fact that it is all of those female energies that have been denied for so long, and it's not just denied within the feminine, it's also denied within the masculine as well. So there is this kind of sense of unfairness and imbalance which we are needing to bring back in order for things to be equal, to be on an equal level. But there's also a sense here with this Hierophant card of not being of something like something being denied, like whether it's spirituality or like a battle is what's also coming through here as well. A battle. A battle to kind of find ourselves, a battle to even on some level to learn to trust ourselves, because we've kind of given that power away for so long. And interestingly, on the bottom of both of the decks that I'm using here, on the very bottom card, I saw this Empress first, and then I thought, oh, what's on the bottom of this deck? And I turned it over and it was the Empress again. So it is very strong energy that we are dealing with this feminine energy around at this time. We've also got Eris as well, still squaring Pluto, and we have the World card in reverse. Now the World is normally about kind of endings, beginnings of cycles, but today it's literally coming through like this kind of mayhem, chaotic world, everything turned upside down. But there's also a key, a lock there, in fact, which has something to do with this key here, this lock. To unlocking something that has been hidden from us, this divinity, because that's how it's coming through for me, is this divine energy within both masculine and feminine. But there has been this huge imbalance, as I was saying. So as we head further into this new paradigm that's coming in, this new shift of frequencies and energies, there is going to be a lot of chaos. There is literally going to feel like the world has been turned upside down for many, many people. And what they would kind of usually hold on to, I feel as well, maybe that's also this, as I was saying, what people would normally be able to hold on to as being real and something that they could grasp is not going to be the same. Because there's a lot of energy hitting our planet at the time. If you can see this energy here as well, coming down from the universe. It's like bombarding us, and there is a lot of energy that we are being bombarded by, not just the astrology energy, but also the photon belt that we are moving into as well, this kind of higher upgrading frequency of light that is shifting not only us, but also the world, or Gaia, who is also going through her own transformation here, as we are kind of like just an outer reflection of that energy. Sorry, my throat got really dry then. And we are going to see a lot more upheavals. We are going to see a lot more shifts and changes, earthquakes, volcanoes, flooding, all that kind of thing. Places that we possibly knew as being looking like this suddenly may no longer look the same, or they may kind of disappear in a way that is unexpected, which could also be this energy here, kind of unexpected things happening, things coming at us out of the blue. That is very overwhelming. And we have in our hopes and our fears the 10 of Wands, or the 10 of Fire. And I am seeing this as this energy of what we are needing to let go. It's like it's done. It's done. It's like there's nothing really much else left for us to learn from this lesson, if you like. But the 10 of Fire can be a it can be quite an oppressive energy, because it's like that in-between stage. It's like we've reached the end of something, but we haven't actually begun going down the path as such towards what is coming in, towards what, even though kind of we're feeling it on this deeper level, this kind of inner sense of knowing that something is shifting and changing as well. But it's like we haven't quite moved beyond this energy. So it's like being that in-between place and holding on to what we know, even though it's kind of disappearing around us as we're doing it. It's kind of like we hold it onto it and then it kind of crumbles in front of us. And this reading may not make any sense to anybody at this time, but in about 2 months, maybe 3 months from now, you may realize that it's actually kind of happening right before your eyes. And again, there's this feeling with this 8 of Air as well, kind of like releasing, needing to release what we no longer need, which at this time, we also have the South Node and the North Node opposing each other. Well, they're always opposing each other, but Black Moon Lilith is there as well. So the South Node is in Sagittarius, and this is kind of us, and the North Node is in Gemini, which is the air energy here as well. And the Gemini energy is where we kind of need to focus our attention, but we need first to kind of release all of this, which is also, I feel, this kind of Black Moon Lilith energy that we need to let go of. But first of all, we're going to have to kind of really face a lot of things that we're not wanting to look at. Maybe this is also this energy here, not wanting to look at something, not wanting to face up to the emotional overwhelm, the despair. So that's the hopes and the fear energy. And the last card we have here is the 2 of Fire, the 2 of Wands. So this is an energy, again, of something kind of starting up, but there is all this confusion. But it's like our path is being lit along the way, but I always think she looks very kind of despairing. Again, this kind of despairing energy. It's that in-between stage again of not really kind of completely having let this go in order to be able to move into something new. And this giraffe is kind of heading towards this cliff, and it could well feel as though that's where we are at this time, or this is the kind of possible outcome that we may feel, that we're just all heading towards this cliff at this time, and we don't know. Again, it feels like we don't know what our future holds. We don't know where we're going, what's happening. It's all very murky, it's all very cloudy, misty, foggy, confusing. And we just have this lamp. But the lamp, I'm kind of seeing it also as this sense of trust and faith and realization that we need to follow our heart, be guided from the heart into this new world that is being kind of created around us. And also not to allow it to, not to allow others to try and distract us, possibly distract us from where we're going and where we need to be on a bigger level of things. So let's do a quick, as I was saying, we have the Empress at the bottom, very Virgo energy for me. The Empress represents Mother, the goddess of Gaia, basically, the Mother Earth energy. It is the time of harvest. The Virgo new moon, I think, is known as the harvest moon, or the full moon maybe is known as the, no, it's the new moon, the harvest moon. Time of reaping what we've sown and bringing back in what we need. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles come out over the top of these energies here, and the Page of Pentacles is saying to me that it is, again, young energy. There is growth here, but it's all about growth. In fact, it's all about what we're understanding and learning and growing from through this. It's almost like with this in our hopes and our fears, it's almost like we've kind of also here as well, like if you put it into age, it feels like we have reached a certain level, a certain kind of plateau, if you like, and we can't go any further with that energy. It's like that's done, it's finished, it's over. And what we're being told to do, or what we're kind of moving into, should I say, is this new growth of going back to being kind of the student again. Because I kind of see the page as young, childlike, student-like energy, learning energy, learning something new in order to grow and expand and go beyond where we have been so far. It also feels with this Page of Pentacles as well like a kind of an acceptance. Acceptance of allowing ourselves to kind of find that childlike quality again in order to, you know, it's like that's the happiness, that's where we'll find it. Because this is our challenge at this time. Perhaps the Justice card is also saying don't judge ourselves in this or others in this, because this is a much bigger scheme, if you like. This is a much bigger story that is unfolding around us, and we kind of, on a smaller level, we have this kind of part to play, but also on a much grander scale of things. It's kind of, we can't control that energy. When something kind of comes to an end, we can't stop that from happening. And also with this Patience card here as well, it's like you can't turn the clock of time, like the hands of time back. The clock is not going to go backwards. So let's see what else we have here. So we have the Moon and we have the Four of Rods. Or the Moon and the Four of Wands. Sorry about the brightness. Okay, so the Moon over the top of the Eight of Air is saying to me that things are kind of in the stage of becoming. It's like things are not fully developed or fully, it's like that stage of not ready to be revealed in a way. The Moon represents our soul. It also represents the collective. But for me here, it's also representing that place of not being shown what is actually taking place. Like behind the scenes, if you like. Like emotionally, again, emotionally we know something, we feel it, we kind of instinctively, intuitively are aware, even possibly even aware of what we need to do to get out of this place of kind of entrapment, self-entrapment. And we have the Four of Rods, or the Four of Wands, which is seen as a celebratory card. It's seen as a For me, I kind of see the four rods as a kind of stability, like building something with a stable, because it's four, it's a square, it's like you put four rods in each corner and you can kind of build on that, if you like. It's kind of stability, it's a sense of achievement. It can also be seen as a card of, well, lots of readers call it the card of the twin flames, or, but I'm kind of seeing it more as a sense of marriage between the masculine and the feminine. The more kind of divine aspects, if you like. As I was saying, the masculine and the feminine within all of us. Because this is the humanitarian card, the collective energy card. So there's a kind of realization or a celebration, an awakening. I'm going to put another card on that, top of that. I'm also seeing it as a bridge as well. Maybe that bridge from the past into that future energy. So we got the Devil and we've got the Five of Rods, which is very interesting. The Devil comes out a lot in these full moon, new moon readings at the moment. And I'm literally seeing this with the Five of Rods here as well. I see the Five of Rods not so much as outside conflict, as more inner conflict, particularly with this Devil energy here. But again, it can be to do because you've got the masculine and the feminine down here as well. You've got the masculine and the feminine here. And then you've got the Four of Rods is a celebration, and the Five of Rods is more conflict, argumentative. But I'm also seeing it as this kind of bridging energy. Marrying between the two aspects of the masculine and feminine, which have been kind of kept tied and bound, and also arguing between ourselves, between each other, between the masculine and the feminine. It's kind of like the dividing energy. If you look at these two down here, they're both kind of in division. And then we've got this energy, which is kind of lording over the top there. The divide and conquer energy. The toxic kind of toxic poisonous energies, what's coming through here that keeps this in place, this divide, this conflict between the masculine and the feminine, both outwardly and within ourselves. When really this is what we know will bring happiness and joy and celebration, is this connection, this bringing it together, bringing the two together rather than dividing and conquering. It's more about bringing it together. But the moon is also feminine energy. Again, emotions. Feminine. The feminine energy that is rising, that is coming out of the dark, that has been there for so long. And that's kind of what the moon is also saying as well, that there is this kind of sense of, like I was saying, things are in that creation stage, coming into being, as of yet not seen. Whereas also with this 8 of air energy here as well, this is what is kind of keeping us trapped. Whoops, there we go again. Sorry about that. Keeping us trapped and in this past conflict and past energy, which is why we keep coming back to the same place and the same story, and why we keep being divided and conquered like we are. Because until we bring it back together and have this equality and this balance and this harmony, which is what the justice energy is talking about, and the truth is known and understood, we're just going to keep ending up in this ongoing battle. Again, that sense of battle. Both within and without. So over the top of the Patience card, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is an energy of achievement, success, getting to where we want to be when it's upright. But there is this sense of kind of people no longer really feeling as though they've got this stability or security in their lives. Again, this is energy that's moving away, but this is where it's coming from. Is this place of insecurity, this place of lacking. Again, uncertainty, unknowing, lacking, because the 10 of Pentacles also talks about building for the future, building for family, legacy, what you're going to pass on generationally. But when it's in reverse, it's kind of saying that something like there's a distorted energy within it all. Which if we go back over this kind of period of history that we've been in, it's kind of come to this place of kind of people working really hard towards something, but when they get there, it's kind of no longer, it's no longer there, if you like. And I am seeing this literally as people putting in hard work and kind of businesses and loss, losing it, being taken away. It's that kind of energy when it's in reverse. also this patience energy as well. It's interesting because she's kind of looking away as well herself. She's kind of like looking away from what feels like this place of stability. Like the past, the history. The flow of time and what it kind of creates. What we do with it. How we build things up around us. And how it can all come kind of crashing down in a way, or we can lose what we had. Which gives us that sense of imbalance and sense of, like saying, insecurity, scarcity. But it's also again saying on some level that we've reached that point where we have to kind of move beyond that energy. I'm not taking you. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse and the Knight of Cups, which is interesting because the Two of Pentacles is coming out after the Ace of Pentacles here. And for me, the Two of Pentacles is about that kind of backwards and forwards energy, like 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. Not quite moving into that future energy because we're not quite wanting to let go of what we have gained already. Particularly if it has been very successful, or we feel as though a sense of stability and security within our environment. And to be able to let that go is not always an easy thing, to kind of start something new, start something fresh. And that's kind of what that's saying to me here, is we're kind of trapped in a way, or caught up in this knowing again on some inner level that we need to change the way that we do things, or the way that things have been, but we're still not quite capable of kind of releasing that past energy. Whereas the Page of Pentacles here is saying that that's what we need to be focusing on. We need to focus on the one, kind of put our attention and our focus onto this new pentacle that's coming in for us, this new, not just opportunity, but this new, how can I put it, like focus of attention. And it doesn't really feel like focus of attention, although it can also be focus of attention, but it feels more like this completely different way of doing things. Different way of doing things for us to learn. It's like relearning. But to do that, we have to put ourselves back into this kind of child, innocent energy of being able to accept or open ourselves up to it. We have the Knight of Cups come out with this energy as well, which is interesting in reverse. And for me, that's kind of saying that we need to bring love into what we do. We're searching for what's going to bring us happiness and what we love, taking our heart or our passion or our emotions into this world of this world of our work environment really is what's coming through for me with this Ace of Pentacles. But it's not the same kind of work environment. It's like, again, change, something different. Whereas before we may have done something just because we needed to do something in order to feel secure or pay the bills, have a family, all that kind of thing. It's like we would stay with something even if we weren't happy about it, because it gave us what we thought we were needing, or what we thought was going to make us happy again, is really what's coming through. But this to me is kind of saying that, and also because there's a lot of water in the back of this card here as well. If you look there, it's kind of very kind of stormy, bit of a stormy sea going on in the background there. So storm or water, again, emotions. Although he's completely and totally oblivious, because his focus is very much here on these two pentacles, on what he's going to create, on what he's going to make out of it. But I feel with this Knight of Cups as well, it is kind of saying that we need to bring the love back into it. We need to bring our emotions back into what it is that we do taking all that either for a living, or yeah, for a living, what gives us that sense of safety and security. And with Uranus at this time trining Virgo, trining the Sun and Moon in Virgo, there could be some big changes on the horizon, is also what it's saying. Big changes are coming on the horizon. If you're not happy, putting your heart, or if you're not capable, if you can't put yourself, your heart and your soul into something, if you've been in something, doing something repeatedly over and over again, but you're not emotionally attached to it, not emotionally rewarded by it, then this Uranus trining the Sun and the Moon in Virgo could make you have some very large changes, shall we say. Some people may just walk out. Some people may just say that that's enough, enough's enough, I'm not doing this any longer. And we then have the Three of Pentacles as well over the top of the Five of Water. So there's a lot of earth energy in this, a lot of earth energy coming through. Virgo is that earth energy. And the Three of Pentacles, when it's upright, talks about creating that stability. Because it comes after the Two, of course, so we've now got the Ace, the Two and the Three all together, all in reverse. And over the top of the Five of Water, which is that overwhelm energy, that despairing energy when everything's too much and we're just kind of being dragged down to the bottom, sinking to the bottom, not even knowing what we have anymore. And I think that's what the Three of Pentacles is kind of saying here, because it also talks about teamwork as well, or community work, like building things together. I'm also seeing this as a sense of, as I was saying, this kind of sense of what's coming in over these coming months is going to be there could be a sense of not enough skill or enough work, not enough workmen or women, work people, should I say, male or female. I'm only saying men because it's got a man on the card, it's easier. But it feels like part of this despair could be coming from this place of not having the workforce, shall we say. A lot of this is to do with our physical domain, it's to do with our environment, to do with the 3D world in general. And what we know as our stability and our security. As we also have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse over the top of the Hierophant energy as well. So, more earth energy, more environment energy, but this is also about our self-esteem and our self-worth and how we judge ourselves by what we do, what we accomplish, particularly when it's in reverse. And with this Hierophant energy, again, as I was saying about this kind of, for me, being an energy of kind of finding ourselves. It's almost like a sense of no longer knowing who we are, even. Just no longer knowing who we are. What do we judge ourselves by? If we can't judge ourselves by what we do, then who are we? Is what's coming through for me here, because the Nine of Pentacles comes just before this card of success as well, reaching that 10. But again, when they're in reverse, particularly when the 9 is in reverse, it talks about a lack of self-worth. Not how can I put it? Not I don't want to use the word judging. I don't particularly like the word judging, but not not seeing our self-worth, comparing ourselves possibly to others, but also it is that sense of, you know, how do I define myself if I don't have this? if I don't have this, then who am I? Because we have for so long now defined ourselves by what it is that we do in order to achieve, shall we say, in order to achieve success, happiness. Although success doesn't necessarily mean happiness, because not everybody who is successful or has an abundance is necessarily happy. So the two are not kind of exclusive. They don't necessarily go hand in hand. But there is this feeling of like not really knowing who we are. This feeling of being disconnected. Also with Hierophant, it can also be about commitment as well. So if we're not committed to something, doing something, we can also feel a sense of loss of purpose. Of reverse cards here, but maybe that's also because reverse cards mean that we need to reflect more on them, and the new moon energy is about reflecting. It is about going within and finding the emotional answers, if you like. But we have over the top of the World card this kind of ending of cycles and also of things. And when I say cycles, I'm talking about like major closing out of a major cycle, like the Piscean age of cycle into the Aquarian age of cycle. 2,000 odd years of history is really what I'm talking about here. And so the Fool energy has come out with the Emperor energy. Again, both in reverse. So we do want this new beginning. We do want to kind of drop all the burdens, let things go, which is also this card here as well, the Ten of Wands, Ten of Rods. We want to let it all go. We want things to just be kind of easier going, to kind of like just be lighter in that sense of not carrying all the history is kind of what's coming through for me here. All this history, as I was talking about, this kind of 2,000-year-old cycle that's closing out. The Fool energy is saying that we really do want to kind of take that leap, but when it's in reverse, there is this sense of like mistrust in a way, because the Fool needs to have that innocence in order to be able to trust himself. Again, it's kind of trusting himself, but also trusting a bigger pathway, like the pathway for where he's going is going to lead him to where he wants to be. It's that new beginning. It's that fresh start straight after the World as well, which is really interesting because the World card is the last card in the Major Arcana, and then it's instantly followed here by the Fool, which is that first journey. It is the journey of the Fool is the major arcana, the different archetypal images. But then we have this Emperor energy as well in reverse. And this is interesting as well because they're both in red. So it's like the younger version of this energy here. It's going from the kind of innocent, childlike, into this much more kind of fixed Emperor, control, especially when it's in reverse. The Emperor energy, when it's upright, does talk about like creating energy. It's that masculine driving, let's create, let's do this outwardly, let's make this building, let's build this, let's kind of, you know, it can be a business, it can be absolutely anything that is done from an outer, creating outwardly. But it can also, when it's in reverse, it can be very controlling. It is that kind of patriarchal energy again that wants to, in many ways, when it's upright, because this is kind of the world that he's literally holding in his hand here, which is very interesting. He's also holding an ankh as well, which also talks about kind of faith, but it's faith that is more structured, shall we say. Structured faith, structured everything. That is the thing about the Emperor, is structure. It is very structured, like structured religion, structured education. It's all very structured, whereas the Empress energy is much more kind of natural. You know, you can learn from being out in nature. It has more of a kind of flow about it, freedom about it, whereas the Emperor wants structure. He wants everything to kind of have a I suppose like a, you know, a beginning, a middle and an end. And the Fool is kind of saying, but you know, I'm just kind of starting out on this journey. And this is where we've ended up, if you like, in this kind of overly structured, and that's where I keep getting this overly structured environment, where we're kind of being herded into a certain yeah, very controlling lifestyle. And this is what's in our collective environment at this time. It's almost like saying, you know, if you go back to kind of, the start of this journey, this 2,000-year journey, there has been a lot of very kind of domineering, masculine, emperor energy, really. Yeah, Romans and like Vikings, and you know, all that very kind of warlike, very kind of wanting to own the world, run the world, that kind of energy, rather than just kind of necessarily wanting to help improve it, but then going kind of over the top with it. So it becomes more of a kind of like a ruling class. Is also what I'm getting from that as well. So this shake up, which is coming with this world energy in reverse especially, and this kind of breakdown and breakthrough of what we kind of know as our security and our very physical world that has been created by this energy, driven by this energy. Which is kind of ignored and put down this energy as not being kind of relevant or important, and has caused an imbalance. I feel it's kind of what's going to be shaken up and shaken out. This is the old paradigm energy that is being shifted. Okay, so over the top of our hopes and fears with the 10 of Wands here, the 10 of Rods, we have the 7 of Cups and the 4 of Swords. 7 of Cups is one of the few cards that's come out in the upright. Sorry about that glare. It's choices. Choices, but it can also be a sense of everything kind of castles in the air. But it is like this place of like almost like realizing that we do have options, we do have opportunities, we do have choices. And all these, it kind of feels like all these things are coming in, but with the 4 of Swords here as well, we need to kind of still have that patience, that need to wait, not to take action. Also the 4 of Swords can be a time of healing as well, of kind of like not being ready, not yet being able to take action because we're not in that place of action at this time. It's interesting because it's almost coming through like some kind of ghost energy as well. Like something that is kind of rising up. Something that is being kind of released, if you like, which could also have something to do with this energy here. This releasing of the kind of the past is also how it's coming through. With the Seven of Cups as well, there can be an element of be careful what you wish for. Because when you get it, you might not want it. So there's also here a kind of element of be careful what you focus your attention on. Be careful where you put your hopes and your dreams. Because you might get it and then you might find that you're disappointed in it. It is just a hope and a fear, so it's not an actual energy as such. But again, our hopes and our fears can become reality because we can focus on both of those energies. And we can focus on the fear side of it, or we can focus on the hope side of it. And we're ending with two, again, in reverse cards. I actually saw them that way around. So the Two of Swords is decision. And it's over the top of this Two of Fire here as well. So that's interesting. I'm also seeing this as kind of like reaching the precipice here. Reaching the precipice and kind of like having no choice in a way but to take that leap of faith, which we may be very reluctant to be doing. And the Two of Swords is kind of blindfolded here, so it's a decision that needs to be made. We need to make some decisions. We need to kind of, I feel on some level, kind of take responsibility. Not just, it's about not just blind faith, which is interesting, whereas the kind of Justice energy here is usually blindfolded because she needs to make a decision from not having an emotional response to something, whereas the Two of Swords kind of needs to, on some level, bring those emotions in, but she's blindfolded, so she can't see the path forward clearly. She doesn't know where she's going. Yeah, you're kind of like feeling like you're walking off a cliff here, which is what the Fool does. The Fool, literally, to take that leap of faith, throws himself off the edge of a cliff so that he can trust what's coming in and where he's going. And the last card that we have here, let me turn it up that way, is the High Priestess. Again, it's in reverse. But the High Priestess is about knowledge. Interesting as well that her arms are crossed over here. It's like she's blocking something, keeping something out, not wanting to see something. Collectively refusing to see something is what's coming through. And yet the High Priestess, and this is what I feel is this energy that we're going to be moving into, is this sense of the unknown, the mystery. And she's also this Black Moon Lilith energy here as well. The unknown, the mystery, what has yet to be revealed. There's also the moon energy up here. What's yet to be revealed, what's yet to be seen, what's going on behind the veil that we're not aware of, not yet ready to see. And I'm also seeing this again, this Two of Swords here, like these swords for me kind of represent the thing that's kind of being forced on us at this time, shall I say. And so there's a decision here that needs to be made on a collective level of whether or not we're going to go down that path. But because she is blindfold, we can't see where that path is taking us, and neither can she, because her head's down and she's kind of given all this trust over to this giraffe who's kind of got the ability to see over the top of things. So in some ways it's kind of trusting our instincts, our intuition and our knowing and our inner knowledge. Because the giraffe to me is representing that kind of instinctual nature, animal instinctual nature. The giraffe is probably not going to throw itself off that cliff. Because it knows that it's a dangerous thing to do that. So if we listen to our instincts and our knowledge. But she's holding a scroll in her hand as well. And for me that always kind of says that there is more to learn here. There's things, when it's in reverse as well, it's kind of saying that there's things that we're not seeing, things that we're oblivious to, things that we're refusing to look at, again with this blindfolded Two of Swords. The path that we're, okay, it is that dividing path. It's that dividing path, that division, which is naturally occurring because of the decisions that are being taken, which is also possibly where this Justice card is coming in as well. The decisions that are going to be taken or are being taken. Are leading us. Leading us down this road, and that's going to be for everybody, personally, individually, choices that they're making at this time. So the Two of Swords, of course, is logic, it's the mind, it's what you believe, coming from a place of possibly what you've been told, whereas the High Priestess, sorry, not the Hierophant, the High Priestess, she's the female form of the Hierophant. She is much more about the intuition, the knowing, the feelings, listening to that inner voice. And some people will not listen to the inner voice, some people will just refuse to listen to that inner voice, and that pathway will be different for them. And other people will take note and are already and have been taking note, and the path that is going to open up for them is going to be different as well at this time. So I'm quickly going to pull a Angel Oracle card here. angel guide oracle to see what the message is for us on a collective level from the angel oracles for the Virgo new moon. Virgo new moon, what is the message? What would you like us to know? Please, source. What else is interesting as well was that both of the Emperors, although they haven't appeared on the table, they were both, as I was saying, at the bottom of the deck. And the Emperor energies come out in reverse, but both the Empresses were upright as well, which is interesting because she does kind of represent that Virgo energy for me. The harvest, the corn, Demeter, Ceres. Without the earth, we wouldn't be here, basically. And she is that permanently pregnant energy because she is forever giving. Creating, renewing. Okay, so what do we have? We have no. Very interesting. Kind of reminding me of this energy here as well. Sorry, blinding you again. Similar, there's a similar look. So what does no want to say to us? Let's get that out earlier. Okay, so no. Your angels are drawing close at this time to help you recognize that the answer to the question on your mind is no. This is not the time to proceed. You may want to, but you are being encouraged to see beyond the current situation and understand that following through on your ideas may have a negative effect on the whole course of your life. Very interesting, because that was a kind of energy I was feeling there, that kind of holding back, not moving, not the right time. Angels are swooping in because they want to save the day and save you a lot of heartache from a choice that is not heart-centered. If you are feeling upset or annoyed by this guidance, this is okay. You are allowed to have an emotional response, but in truth, there will be a part of you that already knows that what you are considering isn't the best use of your energy. So that kind of sums up both those cards for me. Again, too bright. So, that was very interesting and seemed to be very, very relevant. So let's just see what the Namaste cards have in store for us at this time. And then I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to quickly say thank you very much to all of those of you who have watched this video. If you've got anything from it, if you've learned anything, or if you connected with it, if it resonates with you at all in any way, please could you thumbs it up for me. It would make a huge difference to me. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, please could you do that as well, and tap the bell so that you know as and when the videos are getting put out there. There is a playlist as well for anybody who's interested. I do all the full new moons and the astrology sun signs as well. So let's see, what is the Namaste blessing card for the collective for this Virgo new moon? Please, source energy. Interesting. Okay, so we have the blessing of patience, which kind of goes very nicely with this no card as well, I think. A blessing comes disguised as a setback or delay. This card is confirmation that you are on the right path. With patience and perseverance, you will reach your goal. All is accomplished in perfect time. So that's the picture, but that's what it's saying. So, for anybody who's interested in taking a screenshot, if I can kind of, that's probably a bit better. Yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave this Virgo new moon reading. And again, thank you very much to those of you who have watched it and who have subscribed to my channel. Really do appreciate it, and have a wonderful Virgo new moon. I hope it's not too chaotic and hopefully I will see you again soon. Take good care.